For over 3.5 decades, I've dedicated myself to unraveling the mysteries of the human mind and the laws governing our universe. And I'm about to share something that might challenge your deepest beliefs. Age is not a boundary for your dreams. Seriously, think about it. At 35, 45, or 55, do you believe your path is already set in stone? That if you haven't amassed a fortune by now, it's game over. That true love, if it hasn't found you yet, is simply out of reach. Let me tell you something groundbreaking. Your current reality isn't a consequence of your age, but a direct reflection of your daily vibrational frequency. Shift that frequency, and you inevitably shift your financial success, your love life, and your overall sense of fulfillment. Everything vibrates. The chair you're sitting in, your body, your emotions, even your possessions, all possess a unique energetic signature. Nothing is static, energy is perpetual, a ceaseless flow. We exist in an ocean of frequencies, and the critical question is, what frequency are you tuned into? Einstein famously said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it. This isn't philosophy, it's pure physics. The problem is, most people are stuck on low frequencies, often without even realizing it. How many times have you woken up consumed by thoughts of debt, the fear of losing your job, or the gnawing loneliness of being single? And what's the result? Your day seems to conspire to confirm those negative feelings. That's no coincidence. You're vibrating at a frequency of fear, scarcity, lack, and life responds in kind. I know it sounds unbelievable, but consider how many Mondays you've started with dread, already dreading the work week ahead. You unconsciously attract situations that reinforce that frustration, a demanding boss, traffic jam, minor inconveniences that feel monumental. That morning's frequency becomes the lens through which you see the entire day. Sound familiar? Now, imagine the opposite. Picture starting your day vibrating with gratitude, confidence, and excitement. It's not naivete. Positive psychology research, like that of Martin Seligman, consistently shows that individuals cultivating positive emotions enjoy better health, stronger relationships, and greater financial success. It's not magic, it's vibration. Your inner state shapes your outer reality. I've experienced this countless times. When I envisioned creating a global company, I had no office, no team, no capital. But I emanated the energy of someone who already lived that reality. I believed it before it manifested physically. Remarkably, the right people appeared, opportunities aligned, and the impossible became reality. You might ask, what if I try to shift my vibration and nothing changes? That's the doubt that traps many. The secret lies in persistence. A single mental shift won't transform your life, just as one workout won't redefine your physique. But sustain a new vibration, and it becomes dominant, reshaping your external world. How often have you fed negative thoughts about money, telling yourself you'll never succeed, that it's too hard, that you weren't born for it? How often have you convinced yourself that love isn't for you, that all the good ones are taken, that relationships are synonymous with heartbreak? Every belief is a frequency. As long as you stay tuned to it, your life will reflect that energy. If everything is vibration, and it is, then your age, your past, or lack of opportunities don't define you. Your results are determined by the frequency you choose to maintain. The good news is, just like changing radio stations, you can change your vibration. Right now, what's your focus? What feelings dominate your experience? That's what's building your reality. Dare to shift that frequency, even gradually, and watch life respond in kind. I understand the feeling of hopelessness. At 26, I earned just $4,000 a year and owed $6,000. It felt like every step forward was followed by 2 steps back. I lacked formal education, professional experience, and influential connections. I worked physically demanding jobs and was constantly sick, headaches, colds, and deep-seated discouragement. I was trapped in a cycle of scarcity, and worse, I believed it was my eternal fate. Then, a man handed me a book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. I had no idea those pages would be a turning point. Initially, it seemed like another self-help book. But as I read, and more importantly, applied its principles, I realized it wasn't about magical formulas or financial tricks. It was about shifting my vibration, my thinking, my self-perception. I remember the first time I truly committed. I read the book daily, even if I didn't understand everything immediately, and I repeated affirmations of prosperity. It felt strange because nothing around me had changed, the debts remained, my health hadn't improved, my past was still my past. But internally, something started to shift. I began to see myself as someone capable of attracting wealth, health, and opportunity. And that's when my external reality began to transform. In less than a year, my income jumped from $4,000 to $175,000. Note, I didn't change professions, go to college, or inherit a fortune. The only change was my vibration. I moved from the frequency of scarcity to the frequency of abundance. As a result, influential people emerged, business flowed, and doors that were once closed swung open. How many times have you thought your life couldn't change because you lack a degree, started late, or are burdened by seemingly insurmountable debt and responsibilities? I believed that. But understanding that true power resides not in the past, but in the frequency I choose to vibrate at in the present, everything changed. Looking back, I realize it wasn't luck or coincidence, but a choice. I could have continued believing in my limitations, perhaps still stuck in the same situation. But I chose to believe in the possibility, even without external evidence. That decision altered the entire course of my life. Think about it, if someone without education, health, money, or prospects could do it, why can't you? What's truly stopping you? Is it a lack of resources, or the frequency you insist on maintaining daily? I know it can be uncomfortable, but like me, you can transform your life by changing your inner vibration. My story isn't about luck or talent, but about aligning with a new frequency and maintaining that choice until the external world had no choice but to align with me. And if it worked for me, it can work for you. Neville Goddard used to say, "You are limited only by the weakness of your attention and the poverty of your imagination." Hearing that, I sat in silence for a few minutes, reflecting. Because if we analyze it, it's not external circumstances that hold us back, but our inability to focus our attention on what we desire and our distorted use of imagination. How often have you imagined the worst-case scenario? Waiting for a medical test, have you already mentally received the worst possible news? Before an important meeting, have you mentally rehearsed every potential mistake? That's using your imagination against yourself. Our mind is a projector, and it doesn't distinguish between the real and the imagined. By feeding images of failure, rejection, illness, or scarcity, your body feels those emotions as facts, and your vibration aligns with those patterns. It's no coincidence that, after entertaining these thoughts, you attract exactly what you feared. It's like asking life to confirm what you've already vibrated in your mind. Consider the opposite. What if you consciously used your imagination to create the ideal scenario? Not naively, but intentionally. Imagine vividly visualizing your dream home, your beloved work, your ideal relationship. Imagine feeling the joy of already living it. Science has proven that the brain doesn't differentiate between a real event and a vividly imagined one. Neuroscience research shows that when you visualize an action in detail, the same brain areas are activated as if you were performing that action. By intensely imagining your desired future, you train your mind and body to live that new reality. I applied this daily. I didn't just read about prosperity, I saw myself as a prosperous person. I closed my eyes and imagined myself in sophisticated places, talking to successful people, making decisions that once seemed impossible. Initially, it felt like a game, a fantasy. But over time, I noticed my energy changing. I walked differently, talked differently, behaved like someone who already lived that reality. And that attracted opportunities that were once distant. If you think you can't imagine something better, it's because you're stuck on images of scarcity and failure, forgetting your greatest creative power. It's like an atrophied muscle. But with training, it will regain its strength. Start small. Before sleep, visualize a simple scene, receiving a call with good news, seeing your bank account full, being embraced by a loved one. Hold that image for a few minutes. Your mind might wander, but persist. This exercise strengthens your attention and expands your imagination. I remember a time when my life seemed unstable. I didn't have clarity on how things would unfold, but I dedicated myself to consistently visualizing what I wanted. One scene is etched in my memory. I saw myself on a stage, teaching people, sharing what transformed my life. At the time, I had no audience, no structure, nothing indicated it would be possible. But years later, that imagined scene became a reality. I lived exactly what I had mentally rehearsed. Imagination isn't a pastime or an escape from reality. It's the tool that shapes your vibration and what you attract. If you feed images of failure, you'll continue vibrating at that frequency. But if you sustain grand images, even if they seem impossible, you change your frequency and, consequently, your results. How much longer will you allow your imagination to work against you? Isn't it time to change the game and consciously create the life you desire? Ultimately, you don't attract what you want, but what you imagine with clarity and intensity, and sustain with your attention. Many believe they don't prosper due to lack of education, opportunities, or a difficult world. But none of that is the real obstacle. What imprisons most isn't a lack of knowledge, but their inner paradigm. A paradigm is a mental program, installed in childhood, that governs habits and decisions. Even knowing what to do, they repeat the same patterns. Think of someone who studied for years, graduated from a good university, built a career in a large company, and yet struggles to pay their mortgage or lives in fear of retirement. Is it a lack of knowledge? Of course not. Knowledge doesn't translate into results when the paradigm remains. It's like an invisible force, rooted in the subconscious, pulling you back to the same reality. This paradigm is formed in childhood. Everything you heard, observed, and felt was recorded and filtered in your subconscious mind. If adults said that money doesn't grow on trees, that to earn more you have to work to death, or that relationships always end in suffering, those ideas were accepted as absolute truths. Even today, as an adult, you may have read many books, taken courses, sought new references, but you still repeat unwanted patterns. It's the paradigm operating silently. I clearly remember how this manifested in my life. Before I knew these principles, I was always broke. I worked hard, but never saw extra money. It wasn't for lack of effort, but my mind was programmed to believe that prosperity wasn't for me. I earned little, went into debt, and every opportunity was sabotaged by my inner vibration. It was only by understanding the concept of paradigm that I saw the root of the problem. This happens to millions of people. They know what to do, but they don't do it. They want to save, but they keep spending. They want to exercise, but they remain sedentary. They want better relationships, but they fall into the same destructive patterns. This conflict generates frustration because the person realizes they have knowledge, but inferior results. Nothing is more painful than this contradiction. Research in behavioral psychology confirms this. Studies show that about 95% of what we do daily is governed by automatic habits that don't require conscious reflection. Only 5% of decisions are conscious choices. The rest is the paradigm operating in the background. No matter how much you want to change, if you don't reprogram those patterns, you'll continue on the same old script. Reflect, how many times have you promised to do differently, but found yourself stuck with the same result? Swore it would be the last time you'd fall into that financial, emotional, or professional trap. And yet, you repeated it all? This proves it's not a lack of willpower, but the invisible force of the paradigm controlling your steps. But there's something powerful. If the paradigm was created by repetition, it can be changed by repetition. By continuously exposing yourself to new thoughts, images, and beliefs, the subconscious mind begins to accept this new pattern. The change doesn't happen overnight. You need to persist, sustain a new vibration until the old program loses strength. The external world doesn't limit you. It's not your age, financial condition, or circumstances. It's the paradigm you carry within. By identifying it, you realize you have the key to change. You can consciously choose new ideas, images, habits, and reprogram the foundation of your mind. If you've wondered why, despite your efforts, your life seems to go in circles, now you have the answer. When you decide to change that paradigm, everything around you begins to respond differently. One of the greatest pieces of advice I received came from a great mentor named Val van der Waal. He said, "He who tells the stories, governs the world." At the time, I didn't fully understand the depth of the phrase. But over time, I realized that everyone's life is a story they choose to write, consciously or unconsciously. The difference lies in who holds the pen, you or your paradigm. I remember a specific day, in 1973. I was alone, sitting on a couch in a small house on Maplewood Lane. I had nothing but an idea, but I decided to write, "I will build a company that will operate worldwide." At that moment, there was no office, no team, not even a single client. All I had was a thought written on a piece of paper. It was just a story I chose to tell myself. And here's the crucial point: by writing a story with clarity and engaging with it emotionally, the universe begins to organize itself according to your vibration. At that moment, I was already mentally living the reality of a global entrepreneur. I saw, felt, and believed it, even without external proof. Years later, I received a call from my business partner, saying that our company was present in every country in the world. That phrase written alone on the couch became reality. Think how many times you limit yourself to repeating stories you no longer want. Money isn't for me. Relationships only bring pain. Success is only for the lucky. Every time you reaffirm these phrases, you write chapters that keep your life exactly where it is. Have you noticed how people tell the same narrative for years? They always complain about the same difficulties, reinforce the same beliefs, repeat the same excuses. This isn't just talk, it's vibration. And life responds with more situations that confirm the story they've chosen to tell. The big change happens when you decide to consciously rewrite that narrative. It doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means choosing a bigger vision and sustaining it until it becomes real. When Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the electric light bulb, he didn't say, "I'm a failure." He said, "I found another way that doesn't work." He was choosing the story he would tell. And it was that story that illuminated the world. We all shape our own destinies, crafting narratives that define who we become. Think of Oprah. She could have remained trapped by the hardship of her childhood, a victim of circumstance. Instead, she chose a different story, one of triumph, influence, and global impact. Her journey proves that our beginnings don't dictate our endings. It's the story we choose to tell ourselves, the one we actively cultivate, that truly matters. You're the author and star of your own life, remember that. Repeating the same old negative script keeps you stuck in a rut. But dare to write a new chapter, believe in it fiercely before you see any proof, and watch reality shift to align with your vision. What story are you telling yourself and others? Because that narrative is fueling your energy and, consequently, your results. What if, instead of focusing on limitations, you started crafting a tale of abundance, love, health, and purpose? Just like I did, one evening on a simple sofa, you can rewrite your story today. How many times have you heard, "Be happy with what you have"? Countless times, I'm sure. And for a while, I believed it. It's simply wrong. Dissatisfaction isn't a flaw, it's not ingratitude. It's a creative force, life's way of urging you to grow, to expand, to become more. It's your inner energy yearning for expression. A genuine desire isn't a whim, it's your life force pushing for a bigger, bolder manifestation. It reveals your untapped potential. And ironically, many of us are taught to fear this feeling, told that wanting more is greedy, that striving for success is selfish, that aiming for better relationships is ungrateful. That's a lie. For years, I tried to suppress my own desires, to accept a life of limitations, debt, and small frustrations. But each time I stifled my yearning for more, a growing emptiness consumed me. I was denying my true self. The moment I embraced my desires as allies, not enemies, everything changed. Desire is the genesis of transformation, the catalyst for action. The word desire comes from the Latin desidere, meaning to give birth to. Desire is an inner gestation, a seed that, nurtured with focus and emotion, blossoms into tangible reality. Most people abandon the seed before it even sprouts. They look at their current circumstances, see no apparent path, and bury that living seed in the barren soil of disbelief. What's that desire you're afraid to admit, even to yourself? Financial freedom? Leaving a soul-crushing job? Rebuilding a relationship? Starting that project you've put off for years? You've silently pictured it, only to quickly dismiss it as impossible, unrealistic, too late. That's where many people get lost. They confuse desire with impossibility when, in fact, desire is proof that the possibility already exists on some level. Desire is a call from life, a whisper from the universe: you can be more. You can have more. You can live more. Ignoring the call shrinks your life, making it smaller, more limited, more repetitive. When you honor your desires, you begin to grow. It's not an instant fix, but your energy shifts immediately. And when your energy shifts, you attract situations, people, and opportunities aligned with that new state. A friend once said, "We live a lifestyle of daily celebration, we party all week long." That resonated deeply. It wasn't about parties or presents, but about living in a state of constant joy, fueled by desires honored and transformed into reality. That's my wish for you, a life where your desires aren't suppressed, but nurtured until they bloom into real experiences. Don't beat yourself up for wanting more, see it as a sign that life is calling you to expand. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? Not what the world expects, not what others want for you, but what makes your heart race. That's the true calling, the desire that can transform your existence, if you have the courage to hold on to it. It's not your age, your past, or external circumstances. It's the frequency you choose to maintain daily that shapes your finances, relationships, and level of success. If you're paying attention to this now, you've already started creating a new reality. Join me for the next video. It'll help you take another step on your journey to become 1% better than you are today. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.